The most meaningful friendships can be forged through the most brutal experiences. Pearl Jam's vocalist Eddie Vedder has an incredibly strong friendship with Irish singer Glen Hansard, but their friendship spawned from a horrific incident. You could even say 2 horrific incidents. Hey guys, welcome to Bent Planet, where I tell you true stories of humans in abnormal predicaments, tales that will twist your mind. And this story is no exception. This channel is all about feeding you bizarre true stories, so if that's what keeps you glued to YouTube, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get updated when a fresh story is released. And please like this video while you're here. Alright, get comfortable. Are you ready to hear a story? Glen Hansard is an incredible songwriter. He started out as a busker on the streets of Dublin and ended up playing the role of a busker for the indie film Once, which earned him a huge amount of respect, along with an Oscar. It's up there with one of my favourite music-based films. He wrote the music for it, which is beautiful, and the movie gives a super realistic impression of life as a struggling songwriter. Outside of the film industry, Hansard also has a massive fan base for a couple of different bands. One is called The Frames, which he fronts, and the other is a duo with the leading actress from the film Once, Markéta Irglova. If you haven't heard them sing together, you should. The duo is called The Swell Season. So anyway, clearly Hansard is no stranger to big audiences and world tours. But how did he end up touring with Eddie Vedder, and how did they become such solid mates? Well, it's a story steeped in horror. In 2010, the Swell Season duo was performing a concert at a winery in California. It was an awesome show, set within the intimate outdoor area of the winery, and with such loyal fans, they were really connecting with the audience. Unbeknownst to them, a woman who was a huge fan of the band was having an incredibly difficult time with an abusive boyfriend and had filed domestic abuse charges against him. He'd actually threatened to kill her, but still managed to stay out of jail thanks to paying bail. And that's when he decided to show up at the Swell Season's show to do something both she and everyone at the concert would never forget. Just as Glen had finished a song to huge applause, he was joking with the crowd, playing around with an improvised metal song, when some people in the audience noticed high up on the roof of the building that sat behind the stage, someone was standing super close to the edge, looking down. It was assumed that the person was part of the show, because it was a super precarious place for anyone in the public to access, and the steep roofing clearly wasn't made to be walked around on. The man then turned around and clambered back away from the edge, only to then turn again and with all his energy run towards the edge of the rooftop. As more people began looking up in horror, he didn't slow down as he reached the edge and dove out into the air, his body hurtling down, spinning awkwardly and twisting before smashing onto the stage below, right in front of Glen Hansard. Glen, stunned, immediately put his guitar down and darted across to the man's body to see if he could revive him. But even with medical personnel quickly making their way onto the stage, nothing could be done. It was too big a fall for anyone to survive, and the man's stunt was clearly made with the intention of taking his own life, which he did. You can imagine the shock that Glen and Markéta felt when a body falls from the sky completely out of nowhere and lands at their feet mid-concert, not to mention what it did to the audience members who witnessed the whole thing. The next day, completely traumatized by the event, Glen received an unexpected phone call. The voice on the other end said, "Hi Glen, this is Eddie Vedder. I sing in a band called Pearl Jam. I just wanted to check in on you. Are you okay?" As surprised as Glen was to hear Eddie Vedder call him out of the blue, Eddie was actually able to relate to Glen's traumatic experience. 10 years earlier, while playing at a huge festival in Europe, Pearl Jam watched as the crowd in front of them surged uncontrollably forward, crushing people so badly that many were unable to breathe properly. 9 Pearl Jam fans died that day right in front of Eddie Vedder's eyes, and he was unable to do anything about it, despite pleading with the crowd to stop moving forward. It was a horrific incident for all the guys in Pearl Jam, and it took them a long time to get through the grief of it. So when Eddie Vedder heard about what happened at the Swell Season's show, he knew Glen was going to need support. Thus began an incredible bond between the two songwriters. Eddie continued to check in on Glen by phone until eventually they met up and hit it off musically as well, with Glen appearing on Eddie's solo album and joining him on tours around the world. There have been a number of tragic incidents to occur at music concerts, but at least in this case, something positive came out of it. And to this day, Glen and Eddie continue to sing, tour, and hang out together. Alright guys, that's it for today's story. Please give the video a like if you're still here. Make sure you're subscribed so I can keep telling you true stories of humans in abnormal predicaments. Stay safe out there, and as always, stay bent.